My name is Carla Crale from Buddhist Peace Fellowship, Oahu, and we're here tonight as a part of Aidan's presentation, since he has been active with Buddhist Peace Fellowship.
How's it going? How's it going? What's up? What's up? Stop the war. Yeah, take care of the land. I'm Hector Valenzuela. I'm opposed to war. Bring our soldiers home out of Iraq, out of Afghanistan. Stop invading Pakistan.
My name is Scott, and I'm with Vietnam Veterans Against the War Anti-Imperialist. We've been around since, a long time anyway. And I see some old friendly faces out there and some new ones. First of all, I want to thank a couple of people. I want to thank Carla with the Buddhist Peace Fellowship over there. Wait, yay, okay. American Friends Service Committee. By the way, a note on this one. Are you guys familiar with Choices? We're doing a lot of anti-recruitment stuff right now in the high schools. And what we kind of need is if you know a teacher, okay, that's friendly, all right, that we can get Choices into the schools now, okay? I think Aidan will speak to this a little bit later. That's what he was doing on the Big Island. And so if you know a teacher, let's get American Friends Service Committee in touch with them, okay? Arnie, wave, over here. All right, Co-op Books, all right. Revolution Books, got somebody here from that? Yeah, wave. Oh, there, all right, good enough. Logan, are you here with IVAW? There, right there. That is Iraqi Veterans Against the War. I am. So when you get caught in some sort of discussion and saying, "Oh, I don't support the troops," okay, so tell them to Google IVAW, all right? Oh, hey, well, you know, there are vets against the war who were there, all right? And of course, World Can't Wait. We have an announcement from them. Yeah.
Hey everyone, I'm with World Can't Wait, which actually organized tonight's event. I just want to let people know about some upcoming events. In addition to tonight's event, World Can't Wait is, devoted the month of March to GI resistance and trying to organize events around that.
I want to talk about two things really quick, and then we'll get into the program.
Wait, sorry, one more quick announcement. Can you announce tomorrow's event?
Yeah, tomorrow there's going to be a Raise of Hope for Gaza fundraiser at Harris Methodist Church. It's going to start at 5 o'clock. We're going to have a lot of internationally renowned musicians and local. We're going to have poetry of Mahmoud Darwish. We're going to have Middle Eastern snacks. We're going to have Palestinian dancing, and we're going to have politics. We're going to show the video of Anne Wright's recent visit to Gaza, and there's going to be a couple of key speakers talking about the situation in Gaza and Israel. There will be a $20 donation at the door, and you can make it to one of the 3 international NGOs working in Gaza. and $10 for students. So I hope you can make it. Thank you. And there's some leaflets by the door.
Let me talk just for a second here about the FTA tour. I see some old hands here when Fonda and Sutherland came through and actually had the show here. Here's some backstory that not too many people know about. The money raised from all of these tours that they did from Okinawa all across the country and in Europe had to go somewhere. And the place it went was an organization in Chicago called the United States Servicemen's Fund. Now you may have heard that there were GI Underground newspapers in front of every major base in the country and overseas, and a whole string of GI coffee houses. Well, the United States Servicemen's Fund took the money that was raised from these anti-USO tours, which were packed, and distributed them to guys like myself that published Barrage out at Fort Sill and ran a coffee house called Conscientious 3, Fort Bragg, Killeen, Texas. All of these military bases received the money from the anti-USO tours. Now this film was pulled by the Pentagon in less than 3 or 4 days after it opened back in 1972, all right? And this is the first time it's been reshown, all right? One other thing, FTA. The Army always comes up with recruiting slogans. And back in the day when I was in there, that FTA was their slogan. It stood for Fun, Travel, and Adventure. Okay, this is 1968, folks. All right, it didn't take us long for the GI resistors to start to co-opt that. And it was really hard for the military because we'd have big FTA buttons we had made up, moving people made up for us. What could they say? And speaking of GI resistors, okay, this is like a little college area, and I'm going to give you guys homework. Okay. Yeah, I'd really like to join the demo on Kapilani against recruitment, but that's the day I do my sock drawer or, you know, whatever. We've set up a program through Courage to Resist. Google that when you get home, Courage to Resist. We're doing a letter writing campaign to the GIs that are incarcerated right now. There are literally hundreds of them, and more every day. Now this does two things when you write them. One, it lets them know that they're not isolated. But here's something else as a guy who spent some time in the joint. It makes the Gulag authorities understand that there are people out there that are watching, okay? And this is real important for one's health. You know, accidents and stuff like George Jackson, and I could go on. It's really important you send these letters. So you can read a little bit about it on the table up here, all right? And you can Google it where? Courage to Resist. Okay, hey, good retention span. All right. But you're not here to hear me. Okay. You're here to hear Aidan Delgado. Now this guy over here was the first one to yank the chain on Abu Ghraib. Okay? Now, a lot of you guys will say, okay, that's all I need to do now, thank you very much, bye. He had filed for conscientious objector status, they shipped him to Abu Ghraib, and he said, holy shit, what's going on here, all right? So he's got some stories to tell. Coincidentally, he's one of the few GIs you'll meet probably, his CO status was approved the day of his discharge. Woo, what a coincidence, eh? One of the things he said, and I think it speaks to all of us. I know, I'm in the wrong crowd here to like kick Obama, okay? It's the wrong crowd. But I gotta tell you that the only thing that's gonna change with regards to this war are the people in the room here telling their friends to get out in the streets. Although the U.S. administration may change, the war continues. And it is our duty as citizens to ensure that this new administration changes course and lives up to its campaign promises. As a veteran, now this guy spoke these words, but I agree with him. As a veteran, I want to send a message to the peace movement has always supported soldiers in the most meaningful possible way, by bringing them home from a war that should have never been waged.